I took the over-the-road job to escape, not to explore. The endless highway felt honest, a stark contrast to the lies I told myself back home. But honesty fades when the dark gets too thick, and the only sound is the rhythm of my own desperate breath. They call this stretch the loneliest road in America, and they aren't lying. No lights, no signs of life, just endless desert that smells like cold steel and wind sharp enough to cut skin. One July night, I learned how quickly reality can unravel. An hour to the truck stop, the heater fighting a losing battle. I kept the windows cracked, listening to the roads rumble, half dozing as the steering wheel tugged like a morbid lullaby. Then something slammed into the trailer and the world tilted on its axis. Instinct took over. Fear, like a jolt of electricity. I fought the wheel, slammed on the brakes, somehow managed to keep the rig from jackknifing into the abyss. The engine roared, but everything else was a high, thin scream. I pulled onto the shoulder, killed the engine, and stepped out into a wind that tasted like blood and iron. The desert was a black void, the headlights painting the sand a ghostly white. There was a gash in the side of the trailer. Something massive had hit me. At first, I thought a boulder had fallen, but there were no hills nearby. The shape was wrong, no clean curve, but jagged like claws or a shoulder blade. A cold dread settled in my chest. Something big was out here, and I was alone. Then I heard a sound behind me. A crunching in the sand. I turned. 50 feet away, bathed in the headlights, stood something white. Not fur, but bone-white surface. Not a dog. It had a wolf's head, long snout, teeth too bright in the dark, and eyes like nails hammered into blackness. It wasn't walking, wasn't standing, just existing. It had long forearms that hung past its knees, shoulders that rose and fell with a breath so deep I could see the hair on its chest move. It was tall enough to block out the stars. I couldn't move, my mouth was dry. You are one ugly motherfucker, I said, the words hollow and pathetic in the face of something so wrong. It snarled, a sound that tore something loose behind my ribs. Then it did something I didn't expect. It dropped to all fours and walked away. Slow, deliberate. Not running. It didn't want me, didn't need me. That was the most terrifying part. It melted into the sagebrush like a nightmare fading in the morning light. I ran back to the cab, slammed the door and locked it, as if thin metal could keep something like that out. I gunned the engine, a desperate act of defiance against the encroaching fear. There are no quick starts for an 18-wheeler, just long bursts and strained metal. But I left that place like I was running from death itself. Every mile was a victory, but the fear clung to me like a second skin. At the truck stop, I parked under the harsh sodium lights, sat in the driver's seat with the radio blasting static, just to pretend that other humans existed in this world. Sleep was a cruel joke. Every creak of the floorboards, every snap outside the diner, echoed with the cadence of its long, deliberate steps. The diner looked closed, and the atmosphere was of abandonment. I kept replaying its face in the dark. The hunger in its jaw, the wet scratch of saliva, the look that wasn't quite animal, wasn't quite human. I checked the trailer 3 times, circled the parking lot with a flashlight at dawn. No wet footprints, no blood, only the dent and a small tuft of coarse white hair stuck to the metal like a cursed note. I wrapped the hair in a napkin, shoved it in my logbook drawer. Evidence is a burden. Proof meant questions, mechanics, the company pulling me off the road. What did it look like? A very large dog. People need tidy boxes, and my thing didn't fit. I could almost hear their doubt, their dismissal. I thought of calling Mom, telling the story like a joke. Guess what hit me? But the part of me that knows her, the way her eyes soften when she worries, stopped the words. You tell someone you love something impossible, you make them complicit in your fear, plant the seed of doubt. I have family, friends. I won't make them watch the road the way I do now. 3 nights after the dent, I checked the mirrors pulling onto the highway. To the left, something white sat against the scrub like a misplaced bone. It didn't move when I looked, didn't blink when my taillights swept across it. Just watched. Waited. I kept my eyes on the road, hands tight on the wheel, drove faster than the law allows. Told myself it was a trick, fatigue, desert light, but my heart didn't buy it. I didn't tell anyone, not the dispatcher, not my fellow drivers, not the stranger at the coffee pump. Stories out here return with different details. You don't need belief to be real, just the willingness to keep the wheel, keep the terror together. Now, when the highway is empty, the cab clock shows late, I crank up the radio, trying to drown out whatever might be listening. I still look over my shoulder when there are only empty bushes. Years have passed, but the fear is fresh as that first night. Sometimes, in the rear view, I swear I see a pale shape hold still at the edge of the road, studying me like I studied it that first night. It waits until I'm not looking. Then the road is lonely again. The loneliest road in America, and I'm never truly alone. The desert wind whispers its name, a chilling reminder of the creature that haunts my every mile, a phantom born of fear and isolation. And I know, with a certainty that chills me to the bone, that someday that white shape will step out of the shadows and into my path once more. Until then, I drive on, a prisoner of the road, forever bound to the creature that shares its solitude, a silent companion in the endless night. The engine rumbles, the radio blares, and the white shape lingers just beyond the edge of my vision, a constant reminder that some roads are best left untraveled.